And there's a Jake.
Hey, sorry I'm late. I couldn't find the Zoom link on my phone.
Well, I think we have quorum since we have 3 and chair. So I will call this meeting to order at 5:07 on February 15th, 2024. In attendance are Joey Bryant, myself, Aaron Sargent, Nicholas Vila, Mia Young, Alice Williams, Lola Gallagher, and Jake Robinson. Right. Next on our agenda is the agenda approval for today. So I will entertain motions for that. Or, any motions for anything. If you guys would like to approve another agenda, you can totally do that. But I really can't do anything as the chair unless people make motions. Hint, make some motions.
Today's agenda.
Okay. Is there a second? See, no second, I adjourn the meeting. No, I'm kidding.
If only we're that easy.
I know, right? But really, we're either going to just
second that.
Okay, Jake seconds. Let's do show of hands for approval. 1, 2, and the emoji hand thingy also counts. 3. Okay, we are unanimous approval, and the agenda is now adopted. Next up is the approval of the minutes from 2/18, including my terrible dad joke.
I will motion to approve the minutes.
All right, is there a second? Great. Show of hands for approval. 1, 2, 3. Also unanimous. So our minutes are now passed. I don't have any reports. Do either of our advisors have reports?
The only update reports I have for you all is just a reminder, we're coming up on the end. We have, I think I've scheduled out 2, maybe 3 more weeks of program reviews. And then we will be moving into either the end of this quarter, but really probably spring quarter, reviewing our policies and guidelines to make those edits and recommendations. So on that end, otherwise, everything else I have is under communications received.
Okay. Nick, anything from ASCW?
Yeah, just a few things. February 29th is our Southern Brunch. If you guys are interested, there'll be a lot of great food. I believe, I forget the exact time, but it is February 9th, and I'll get back to you guys on the exact time that day. And then within our WSA, or governmental office, we are working on a few bills, and I'll link those in the chat. If you guys could support, that'd be really great. And spread the word as well on these bills, as they have committee Friday, so today is kind of the last day to sign in. And yeah, I think that's all I have. I yield the rest of my time.
Great. Because there was no upper time limit on that, that means you yield infinity. Okay, no more math jokes. I would love to attend that, but that is my grandfather's 23rd birthday because he is a leap year baby.
He can come.
Yeah. We got him a bottle of wine for his 21st. It's 84, in everybody else's time, but because his birthday only comes around every 4 years, it's pretty fun. All right, communications received. We're going to Joey.
Only one that I've received so far, and just as an update on your all's end, which is all part of the regular process. I did receive outreach from one of our student reporters with the Observer, who's just looking at trying to get some information and specifics, so they can go back and check our minutes and the recording about the conversations and discussion and motions that the committee has put forward about the base funding adjustments. I'm waiting to clarify if they're looking at just for this year, the discussion you all had back in November, or if this is the larger one that actually happened 3 years ago as the carry forward. So happy to provide all that information, whether or not they come and attend our meetings to join in as well or ask public comment. But I would anticipate, given the request in question, is that they're likely looking at an article coming out. So we'll keep you all apprised of that. But that is all. Yep, that's all I got.
And just for anyone watching, we always invite people to come for a public comment, which is up next. So anyone having a public comment, go for it. non-intuitively, you can make a public comment that you don't have a public comment. All right, seeing no public comments, let's move on to new business. That is going to be the review of annual financial reports and program reviews, starting with the campus community garden. So I'm going to kick it back over to Joey again.
Yeah. And so again, hopefully you all have had a chance to look over the materials. I can pull them up if needed. But as usual, I'll kind of give a brief summary of what each one of these are as we go into them, just so you know, looking at them. But the campus community garden, you all will see, and this is associated with the Wildcat Farm, but this is a specific portion that we've had S&A funding for a number of years now that is specific towards students be able to come in. This helps to pay for some of the tools, some of the basic services that are out there. So that way any student, and while it's open, they don't check, but it is for students to come and be able to plant things, grow things. If you haven't been out to the Wildcat Farm, there's a specific section out there that is set up as the community garden area where people can kind of come and grow things as long as they are permissible and legal before anyone makes any comments within that. And so this funding really was to help with some of the goods and services. This was already an initiative that was happening beforehand on that side. But with that though, questions, comments, things you all want to pull up, feedback you want to give, I'll open it up.
I'm thinking no on that. It looked good to me. Should we move on to the Office of International Studies and Programs?
We absolutely can. And again, for anyone watching the recording, you can go check out these documents on our website if you want to check and see. So the Office of International Student Programs. So this is really funding. It's new within this last base funding cycle. The name is a little bit misleading because it is a larger piece. This funding is actually just a small portion that is provided to the Office of International Student Programs to provide for a few student positions and some community engagement belonging programming and activities that those student positions put on for, and they're geared towards our international students, but are open to anyone within the areas. And so it's kind of a little small specific for service activities outside of the academic and study abroad program.
Great. Don't mind my cat in the background sitting on my laundry hamper. All right. Any questions about the Office of International Studies and Programs or discussion around funding or questions regarding that? All right. Seeing none, let's move on to the Office of Undergraduate Research.
Yeah, no, that one looks pretty straightforward.
So the Office of Undergraduate Research, you'll kind of see on this, and if you look back at past documents, historically, this has been two separate base funding pieces. Then in the last funding cycle, they combined into one. And so this is for the Office of Undergraduate Research in a broad sense, but also for SOURCE, our symposium on undergraduate research that comes up in the spring. And so the funding for this kind of goes a little bit towards both. One is to help to fund and put on the symposium itself, where we have students come and present their research that they've done, number of poster presentations, direct presentations, there's judging, all of those aspects, but it is really to highlight student research that's been done at the university. So that's one part of the funding. The other part is for undergraduate research, the office. This provides similar, but obviously very different from our club travel and our ESC. This provides some funding for the Office of Undergraduate Research to provide students who submit requests for funding to go and conduct research or to attend conferences related to their research, to give a little bit of funding on that side from a goods and services standpoint. So.
And OUR being the middle letters of SOURCE is just a coincidence, right?
I mean,
Office of Undergrad Research, OUR.
Yes, because the other one is Symposium on University
Yes,
Research
yes.
and Creative Expression. SOURCE is typically kind of coincided with undergraduate Office of Undergraduate Research, given obviously what it is. But Yeah.
I'm just saying there's an opportunity for some dovetailing and maybe some overlap here if they're merging. All right, any questions or discussions on that?
Yeah, just thinking about their ending fund balance for 2023, it's at negative 31,000. Just
Can take a look at that and see if we can get more information on it and make sure that that's the correct amount.
okay. I think that's my only question so far. I'm just wondering.
I can pull it up on the side here just for reference on this. And so that's probably something for Aaron, you to look and see, because I'm trying to share my screen while I talk. Don't judge me for my ability to multitask. Hold on. Maybe.
Everyone be
judging.
distracted by the fuzzy fur balls behind me.
Oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. Stop sharing. This happens when I have all of the documents pulled up for ease. It is not easy to share my screen then. We'll just share the full screen. So on this one, and it's over on this side, and I'll try and zoom in for y'all to see, because I don't know who else can see that. I think what, Nick, as you look on here, again, they got 52,000 in fiscal 22. They only spent 22,000, so they left 29,000 at the end. Last year, they received 49,000, and at the end of all of it, they spent 47,000. I know that we would already have the 29,000, which would roll back, or that carried forward. I'm not sure what the rest of the transfer in out is. So even looking at their answer, I don't know if you have more, Aaron, for that one.
Can you scroll down just a tiny bit?
Yep.
Up just a tiny bit. I think that this might be something in the report. I believe with all, I'll have to just double check it. I wouldn't be able to give a really thoughtful answer right now without just kind of digging in there and making sure that there wasn't an error. It could be, I mean, it could be that we transferred out too much, which is kind of what it looks like just looking at this. In which case, you know, that would be, or it could be a reporting thing. But I'm happy to follow up and if that would be okay with you all, maybe next week we can just talk about that part, and I can let you know what I find out.
That sounds super interesting. I'm curious about that as well.
Well, hopefully it's not my error that's super. That would be, you know, the most interesting. But
Oh no, not your. Just like what's going on there, you know?
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
It's just us causing drama. No big deal. You know? Yeah, that would definitely be interesting to find out.
It's asking good questions, because I think that's a great point. Like, and I appreciate it because that's for you all to notice. But again, them ending up negative 31,000 in the hole at the end of the year is definitely something you all should bring forward and point out and ask questions about. Yeah. So I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment.
Okay.
Other questions on source undergraduate research?
That was the only one I was going to ask too, but anybody else have any?
Either from the financial report or their program review.
Thank you, Calico. All right. Well,
was that a question from Calico or no?
Well, I mean, her tail
Statement.
was in a question mark, but it wasn't really phrased as a question.
That's fair.
She would be terrible on Jeopardy. Let's move on to the university centers.
Okay. So the university center funding, this one is one we've had for a number of years to provide, and really for the longest time, it was really for student ambassador positions. So at each of the, before it was the West Side Center specifically, to hire student workers to assist with programming, to assist with some of the connection pieces, to build some of that sense of belonging within those. With this, and in the last funding cycle, oh no, that's still what that is. I'm jumping ahead to the next one. Just kidding. That's what this one is. This is my problem, is university centers and the West Side student affairs budgets mentally connect together. So yeah, that's specifically what this is for student positions at each of them. They have expanded it not just to the West Side, it's all university center positions they hire to help with some of those duties.
All right, are there any open questions or discussion on this?
I mean, it's cool that we're providing that for all the campuses. I don't have any questions though.
Okay, great. I think we should move on to West Side Student Affairs.
So West Side Student Affairs, and I believe they've come in and kind of asked to broaden this as well to University Center Student Affairs, but their request, so we still have to keep that language in there for the budget purposes. This has been for a long time kind of funding for student programs and activities, student clubs, kind of the parallel to the student clubs and student government at our centers. The last base funding cycle, they did come in and request and got funding for some additional professional staff positions as well to assist and increase some of that at each of the centers coming up. That's kind of what you'll see in terms of the unspent funds. Was in that first year, fiscal 22, they had just requested, I think it was 4 new professional staff positions, which they got the funding, but obviously through the process, they didn't hire them until partway through the year. And so that's kind of where you see a little bit of that large amount of carry forward in the first year, and similar in terms of vacancies and pieces in those other years. But
all right, any questions or discussion on West Side Student Affairs? And I don't see any, so how about we move on to old business, if there is any? Joey's shaking
None.
his head. Assume Aaron doesn't have any. I don't have any. We're all out of old business. Does that mean we're doing our jobs?
Something like that.
I guess that means we're doing our jobs too well.
Yeah, well, we're going to put ourselves out of a non-paid job. All right, moving on to public comment. This is going to be the second call, so if you guys have anything to add or that anybody should see, now is the time. Go ahead, Lola.
The usual reminders about events. Saturday is the Yule Ball, which is the prom people never had in the Cirque Ballroom. And there it's campus activities. The Berg and Office of Health Promotion are teaming up to just pretty much pull out all the stops. It's pretty dang cute. Plus, they have some glittery stickers for people who show up. So limited edition. And then also just another ask for assistance in getting the word out about the spring quarter hype. We are looking for people to send in their events that they want listed in the back. The deadline for that is next Friday, the 23rd. So that would be great to get some more information from people, actually kind of get people to confirm some of their events for spring. That's all I got. Thanks.
And I assume after they're confirmed, then they're going to be sent to Mia so she can hype them.
I do got a quick announcement as well. We got 3 weeks of this quarter left. So I do recall former people on this committee reminding me to go tell everybody how awesome S&A and other committees are. So tell your buddies, tell your friends, tell your classmates, tell your teachers, tell them how awesome we are. we'll always be looking for more people, I'm sure. Not just our committee, but also all parts of student government. That's it. Only 3 weeks of the quarter left. Let's go.
Joey.
It's like Alice was reading my mind. So thank you, Alice. To segue off of that specifically, one, absolutely please help to encourage folks, talk to them about S&A, especially knowing next year is going to be a base funding request year where all those requests have to come in and be reviewed. Not that every year isn't important because you all are looking at this, but they're going to have to make recommendations and decisions on the next 4 years of funding. So we really want to make sure we have a good, diverse group of students from different perspectives and a full committee to make sure we have student voice on those. So again, you all are the best advertisement, the best ability to talk about what this committee is. Even though you all haven't been through base funding, you know what all of those funding programs are and can kind of anticipate and get an idea for what that process looks like to review those. So as Alice recommended, please talk to people. Encourage them, let them know how awesome you think S&A is. And feel free to send them my way or Nick's way with ACW. In addition, for current right now, if any of you or anyone watching or anyone you know would be interested, we have 2 specific committees that really need folks right now. One is the ACW Council of Probity, which is the committee that needs to review any ACW policy changes, bylaws, grievance concerns, things along those lines. We definitely need 2 students. We have 2 vacancies currently, and we have to have 3 people for a quorum. There's only 5 members, so only having 3 left makes it real hard to get all 3 of them at the same time, as you all might imagine. So please, if you have questions, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk about what that is, but would really love that. It's a pretty low commitment. We meet once a quarter unless issues arise. And then the other one is absolutely like right now, let's get things going, is anyone who's interested and willing to serve on the ACW Election Commission. This is the group who gets the things rolling and going in terms of the timeline, the calendar for the elections for all of the executive board, student senate, all of our elected positions that typically come up on the general election for students in spring. But that process gets started right now and currently going. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Nick, Lola, or myself. But if you have any interest or know of anyone interested or encourage them, we really would love to have a couple more folks on that right away. So with that, I yield my time for public comment today to make a finite time frame for Jared.
Well, that's great. Anybody else? My cat is meowing at people outside, but she doesn't count. So I think we are now to adjournment. So I will entertain motions to adjourn.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adjourn this wonderful meeting.
I'll second that.
And hands. All right, we are out of here. Been a pleasure. We will see you all next week.
Have a great week all. See you next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.